Hello, 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 and welcome to another Win Daily Show. My name is Michael Raziel. I got my man Sia Najad here with me. I got my other man, Sticks Picks, here with me. I guess, are you guys them my men? Maybe you guys are my men. I don't know. But we're
We
here to
could be.
talk about. Hey, I have my intro, dude. You gotta let me
Sorry,
do this.
sorry,
Come
yeah.
on, we're live. Like
Run it back.
you're looking at me. Look, I can't run it back now. Fuck it, we'll do it
I know.
live. But we are here to talk about Week 3 of the NFL. We have our betting lines here for you. It's going to be a lot of fun. And one thing, as you can see, if you are watching, scrolling down at that bottom, windailysports.com/DK. You're probably curious what that is, right? Right?
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
What is that?
All right. So we're really curious what that is. Win Daily Sports has partnered up with DraftKings. Go to that website, windailysports.com/DK. We have a free roll, top 50 prizes, top 50 places in that tournament. Get a free membership to windailysports.com with the first overall prize, getting a lifetime membership to Win Daily Sports and an interview with Sia Mother effing Najad on Sirius XM radio. We'll make sure Jason's not there. Don't worry. So how incredible. Sia, tell me how excited you are to just talk to some random dude who kicks all of our ass in DFS this weekend.
Can I tell you that this is sort of news to me? I think I might have missed a couple text messages in the last hour. So
a couple text messages.
So tell me what's the interview on Sirius? So like, am I interviewing the person on
the winner?
on
Whoever wins.
You're interviewing the winner who kicked our ass.
Yeah, don't give me any hard questions then.
Oh, there we go.
All right, so we're not eligible for the winnings, are we? Because I don't want this to be the poker tournament all over again.
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
You took my money last time. Thankfully, this is a free roll, as we said. windailysports.com/DK. You'll get right to the tournament. It is a free roll. We're here to have some fun, and today we, as I said, are going to be talking about these Week 3 lines. First, actually, I forgot to ask Nick, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. Got a lot to do.
Got a lot to do, but we're gonna have a lot of fun here. Sia, how are you today?
So good and bad. So it's football season, so I'm always so super excited. I mean, obviously, for obvious reason. But so my wife has noticed that too, and she's like, basically like, you're only in a good mood during football season. And the takeaway for her is that I don't put you in a good mood, as in she doesn't put me in a good mood. So I'm sort of wrestling with that battle to reassure her that it's not just football that makes me happy, but it is sort of just football that makes me happy. So here we are to talk about Week 3 game lines. And again, I couldn't be more excited about it.
Dude, I'm the same way. There's just a different feeling in the air when it's football season. And you're right. That's all I do, I guess, right now. But
is that how marriage works? I just got married, guys. Don't forget. So
yeah, I don't know if marriage works with football. But
shit.
I don't know if marriage works. Period. End of sentence.
Love it.
Seems outdated.
Yeah, seriously.
Social
construct. It's really, we don't need any of it. But I'm married. Sia's married. Nick, I'm pretty sure, is getting married in only a couple months now. So I think we'll all be fine. We'll keep doing this show, and that's the important part. This is what makes us happy, and this is why we keep doing it for you. So if anybody out there has questions, give us some questions, man. We're here to help you guys. We do this much. Sure. We do this. We would literally do this because we like it so much, but we also do this for you to enjoy and ask questions. Obviously, we have the live stream coming Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central Time, where Nick and Ghost recently, I think it's still going to be them this week. We'll see what happens. Have been crushing it. We've been getting a lot of people to watch, a lot of people to pay attention, a lot of people to make a lot of money. So, gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into the show. We have the Miami, what are they? The Dolphins. Yes, I almost said Marlins because they're about to make it to the postseason over my Mets. The Miami Dolphins going into Jacksonville. This line opened as a pick'em, and it quickly moved to -3 to Jacksonville. Sticks, I'll open it up with you, man. Do you believe in Minshew as much as I do and as little as Sia used to?
Hell no. No, I do not like that guy at all. No, he's got a dope mustache. That's it. I don't think he's that good. I'm really disappointed in the target share for DJ Chark. So that was like my only thing I wanted to look forward for Jacksonville. But former ISU Redbird great right there. That's normal. That's where Illinois State University is. And shout out James Robinson because that dude's going off. And he's fantasy viable right now. I'm sure most people are probably using him as like RB2 or a flex if you were part of the ACL storm on Sunday. So good for him. That's who I'm probably interested in watching, and I believe in him and DJ Chark, and that is it on Jacksonville. I still don't – this team has to start losing bad to get – if they want Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. I don't get why they keep giving so much effort.
I can tell
it's
you.
Bad for business.
Please. I can't wait. I'm going to get to clip this part out as I did last week to make fun of you because Gardner Minshew is going to show you up. In terms of the game, though, are you putting any money anywhere?
I mean, good God, did the over jump in this game like crazy. It looked like it opened at, 44?
Yep, up to 48 now.
Yeah, that's wild. I think if it gets, the line also opened at Jacksonville -1.5, and it's up to 3. I don't think we see the 3.5, but the second they get 3.5, I'm buying Miami. Until then, I would probably wait and see, but I guess my lean would be Miami plus the 3, sure.
I love it. How about you? Are you shoe side already with me?
So I like Miami.
Damn it.
So we have to be really careful because we've only seen a 2-game sample size. And I just think that what we thought Jacksonville was before the season started is probably 40% of what they are. And I think maybe 60% is what we've seen in week 1 and week 2. So put all that together, I think Miami's a decent team. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is a decent quarterback. He does have all of his weapons. He has an additional sort of anti-weapon in Jordan Howard, and that's part of the reason the Dolphins lost the game last week when they brought him in on the 1-yard line in a goal line situation. But anytime Jacksonville's giving points, to me, it's a no-brainer to take the Dolphins. This is a standalone game. I would probably normally say just kind of avoid it or maybe live bet it. But because it's a standalone game, I probably will be making a play, and I'll take whatever points are being offered on the Dolphins' end.
Yeah, right now it's 3. As Nick said, if it gets to 3.5, it's pretty much you have to take Miami in the points. The one thing about Jacksonville, both of the games they played were divisional. AFC South is really weird. Granted, they put up 60 points against 2 teams, which are, the Colts defense, I know Nick's been on them all year, or at least the Colts in general. And the Titans, they have a solid defense. I know Ja'Cavion Clowney really didn't get into the mix. They lost a couple cornerbacks, but it's weird, man. It's weird. I'm going to ride with Jacksonville. Would have really wished I could have got this at -1.5, but -3 might be a little too much. I might stay away or just wait for that 80 model prop to come out and see who the hell I get to bet on there because, man.
I can do one live if you want.
No, we got one live, everybody.
No, I can't. I'd have to go scrape 5 different fantasy.
All right. Well, never
5
mind.
different sports books and find the best price and
Look out.
That. I can do that at the end of the show if you just want me. I can mute for an hour and come back with a lock for tomorrow if you want.
I would rather you get to talk this whole time. It's more fun for me. What I will say, though, is those Thursday plays, we usually make them free for you. So we'll probably have 1 or 2. We had Brian Edwards on the over on Monday. I think it was
hit
the
it in
first quarter.
Second quarter, and I was bored.
It was a joke, man. That's what we like. That's what we like. So make sure to be on the lookout for those. These Thursday night games, they are fun. As Sia said, it is standalone, but it is still very fun here. So let's move on as my page refreshes. We have Las Vegas traveling to New England. Opened up at 46.5, 6.5 to New England. Looks like you can get that at about 6 to New England. So it came down a little bit, and 47.5. So 48 if you're really feeling it at our friends over at William Hill. See, I'll start with you. Obviously, we saw what New England did. Seattle's defense isn't from 2012, so we all have to remember their defense actually isn't that good. We just think it is. Cam Newton looked like a man. I'm terrified now for good reason. How do you feel about 6.5 to the Raiders, who we just saw ball out on Monday night and kind of take it to the Saints?
Yeah, so this line's moving. At some places I'm definitely seeing 5.5, but if it's honestly, if it's between 5.5 and 6.5, I'll probably lean the Raiders here. Part of me hates this game because you would think the public would be on the Raiders this week for any team that they're playing that's not the Patriots. And the same is true for the Patriots because we all saw them and they both the teams looked very good. So I don't really know where the public money would go here. I would imagine it's the Patriots and Cam, but I just think the way the Raiders played on defense and the way their running game has been working, and Derek Carr was really bad in the first half, but pretty good in the second half. I just think 5.5, 6.5 is too much. I think this is a grinded out game. Don't forget, Cam Newton and company, what they really want to do, I think, is run the ball like they did in the first game in week 1, where they ran the ball 70% of the time and only passed 30% of the time. So I think that's going to be the game plan for both teams, which is honestly, I hate taking unders in this day and age, but I honestly might lean the under there as well with the Raiders.
And that's the confusing part, because obviously both teams just kind of want to sit on the ball, take the air out of it. Why the hell did that over/under go up from the open? That's what I'm really curious about. Sticks, how about you? How do you feel about the points in this game?
I'm 50% on board with Sia. I like the under for sure. If you can get 48 still, DraftKings is offering 48. You should hit that right and now. If you are interested next, it is going to go down. Looks like sharp money is going to come in on the under. I am on New England at 6, but you can get 5.5 on DraftKings, so take that right and now. I could not disagree more with Sia on this one. I think the recency bias is 100% on Las Vegas after beating the Saints in primetime, and I don't see how Vegas could stop the Patriots in general. Everything about their offense, I think, is the Patriots just had a really disappointing loss. And we got LaMarcus Joyner, my boy Trayvon Mullen. I think this is N'Keal Harry coming out party. Going to have a lot of Patriots in DFS. I think it's just I'm worried about the pace if I'm going to stack this game up on both sides. But I think this is all Las Vegas recency bias. They played so damn good on Monday night too. Don't get me wrong, but I think New England absolutely routs them. That is my take. I will take it at 6, but DraftKings is offering 5, so. That is my take, and I'm going to go bet that right now. Thank you.
And they're giving you a free point there. I can see both of your arguments. I think I'm terrified of the Patriots, so I think I'm going to lean with Nick on this one, but I'm definitely staying away. I do like the under, though. That's really the confusing part to me, though, is that it moved up, and that is something that I don't like to see. That's something that scares the hell out of me there as well. So, again, I'm excited for the 80 model picks and really what the 80 model thinks of this entire game. So interesting. Cam Newton, potential MVP candidate. Not happy about it. Let us move on. The third game I'm looking at is the LA Rams and Sia Nejad's Buffalo Bills. He had the pick right. Thought Josh Allen wasn't going to ball out, but goddamn did Josh Allen ball out over 400 yards. So this game, 2 games ago, first game with over 300. Last game, first game over 400. Nick, you got to adjust the model. It has to tell me Josh Allen is throwing for at least 500 yards. But Sia, talk to me about this game. How do you feel about the Rams getting 3 points in some places, 2.5 in others from the Bills? And this game got bet all the way up to 47 as the over-under opened at 44.5. How are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, I think the public is going to be on the Bills, especially since they're at home. And I use air quotes there because, what does that really mean in this day and age? I'm going to have to go with the Rams. Just like last game, this isn't one of my bigger plays. This is probably one of the games I might not even bet. So, I'll tell you when it's a game like last week, it was the Giants for me. I was definitely playing that game. This one is probably a stay away, but I like the Rams. I think the recency bias is going to be there for what we've seen with the Bills, but we have to remember who they played the last 2 games. And I'll hand it to Josh Allen. He looks good, and he particularly looks good with Stephon Diggs there. Obviously, that's going to be helpful. I think he's 57 for 81 for 729 yards, 6 touchdowns, and then he's run for a bunch of yards too. So very impressive, Josh Allen. But the Rams aren't, quote, a real defense, but they're a much better defense than the last 2 teams that they've played. So we'll see how he does this week. I'm going to just go with McVay here, and I'll take the points with McVay.
It's been working so far for you this year. Sticks, how are you feeling about this game? The Buffalo Bills favored by 2.5, 3, 2 in certain places.
It looks like everybody and their brother is on the Rams, but I can't go against McVay. They look good right now. I love that defense. It's finally looking like all the money they spent is going to pay off. They're all playing well. I don't know, man. It's tough, though. Buffalo is always surprising. Only 36% of the tickets right now are on Buffalo. Usually I would go with that side, but the line is going in the Rams' favor, so I think I'm probably going to sit and wait and see where this one goes, but my early lean is certainly with the Rams and McVay just because I think this team is as good as they're getting right now. But they did lose Malcolm Brown. I don't think that's that big of a deal, but if Cam Akers can't play, I think he's day-to-day. Really, who the heck? It's just Henderson? And then who the hell's the next guy up? I don't know.
Henderson looked really good last week. I mean, by the way, as a DFS option, I understand it is the Bills and it is a tough defense, but I think I'm going to have Henderson in a couple lineups, especially if Akers and Brown are out. And I think at least one of those two is going to play. And honestly, this could be a nice bounce back game for a Cooper Kupp too. I'm not super excited about it, but all the attention has been on Robert Woods for good reason in terms of just piling up statistics. But Cooper Kupp has been super underwhelming. So not a game to stack, but actually. maybe it is a game to stack. I mean, the over-under is 47.5, and Josh Allen has been like just rolling. But I think Darrell Henderson and Cooper Kupp are actually going to have a day.
All this praise, man, you're freaking me out a little bit. I don't know. This is starting to get a little confusing.
Well, I still think he's a bad quarterback, but I mean, the stats speak for themselves. It's just that he did that against two really bad defenses. So we'll see what happens when he plays a couple of good defenses.
All right. We have to make a bet on Josh Allen at some point this year. Like, what are you going to do? Maybe you have to throw a ball 500 yards in the air at once. I think that's a fun bet. A Josh Allen bet right there. I think that would work.
Update, by the way.
Oh, yes.
I don't think at Chris Cody ESPN is watching right now, because I know he's intently watching the Marlins and the Miami Heat, because he's a big Miami fan. But we have set up for next Thursday or Friday for me to go out and kick that extra point that I guaranteed I could make. So we should have the footage of that, in about a week and a half or so. How about that?
I love it. I'm very excited. We will we'll debut it on social media, I guess, like everybody else does. So that should be a lot of fun. I'm very excited for that to see it. So I think at one point this year, you're gonna really respect Josh Allen, and I'm excited. I'm really excited for it. Let us move on to the next game. Oh, and as we've been talking about, we're obviously touching on some DFS plays. Obviously, again, pay attention to what we're doing throughout the week, because that's when everything really does start to get hot and heavy. But as you see on the bottom, or if you're just listening, windailysports.com/DK. We have a free roll on DraftKings, top 50 winners, top 50 places, get free memberships to Win Daily Sports. One spot gets a lifetime membership and an interview with Sia Nejad on Sirius XM Radio. I've seen Sia Nejad interview Robert Griffin III before. Immaculate. You'll never hear a better interview. So I'm very excited.
He's a stud, man.
Absolute stud. And you might be able to see him too. So you'll get to hang out with his beautiful hair. So let us move on.
Quick question, Michael.
Houston is traveling. Yes.
From the gallery, I believe we're going to do a lot of giveaways on the live stream Sunday as well, aren't we?
Yes. We are giving away shirts, I think, and memberships. We're doing everything, man. We want people to win.
Sunday's going to be a fun day.
It's going to be a fun day. Sunday,
I'll shut
fun
up
day. We roll it. No, you're good. We roll it right into the 1 o'clock locks, or 12 o'clock, as you Central Coasters like to say. And we roll with it. We absolutely roll with it from there. So Houston is going to pitch.
Michael, before we get to Houston, no, I'm sorry, but we don't want to cut Win Daily short on the DFS part of it, because for anybody that's listening, this isn't going to be a huge DFS show. It's a betting lines show, but the Win Daily team, mostly thanks to Nick at Sticks Picks, has really started to dominate the DFS community. And we have the green screens to prove it. Obviously, you can just literally go on my page or at Win Daily Sports, or whoever, is affiliated with Win Daily Sports. So check out all of our shows, not just this one and not just the live stream. You guys do the podcast on Friday too. And there's a lot of DFS content all around. Sorry, Michael, go ahead. My bad.
You're good. It's great point. Promotion, something I have to get better at, something we all should get better at. Yes. Jason won $25K the first week. I think Sticks, you profited 3 or 4K. See, I think you profited 3 or 4 or 5K, whatever it was. We had a subscriber hit for 5. We had another subscriber hit for 10 last week. So we're not messing around, people. We are not messing around, and we're giving you free memberships all the time.
The U of F guy, that's his name on Discord, $5 into 5K. Man, congrats to him. That is just an amazing hit. Aaron Jones, baby. Aaron Jones,
season. It worked. I won a couple bucks on Aaron Jones. I won a few dollars on Aaron Jones. So I was appreciating about that. So, anything else? Can I move on to the next game? You guys good?
Go.
So we have Houston traveling to Pittsburgh. Lined open up at 45, still there. Opened at Pittsburgh -6. It is now -4. If anyone was listening to the recap show, Sticks and I were talking about this game. He quickly looked and listened, and that line had already moved Monday morning, because recency bias on the Texans. They have been bad, but they opened up with the 2 best teams in probably the National Football League, in the Kansas City Chiefs and in the Baltimore Ravens. Sticks, let's pick that conversation back up where we left it last time. -4 to Houston. Are they -4 to Pittsburgh? Is Houston getting too many points here? Is this a spot that you might want to maybe grab a couple shares of that?
Yeah, but we missed the boat. I think you had to hit this at open around 5.5. I don't think the market's going to come up to 5. We're probably going to see 3.5 as the closing number. So maybe just do like a 6-point teaser with I don't you like to tease favorites, so I was going to say you could tease the New England Patriots and tease Houston up with a third team that we could talk about in a little bit, but I don't know. I don't like to tease favorites down. That's one of my rules and something everybody should probably live by. I know a couple people won on those this week in Discord, but do not get comfortable teasing favorites down. Not a good idea. But yeah, I still like the 4. I'm probably not going to bet it. The under is 45 is pretty a weird line. I mean, Pittsburgh's been pretty pass heavy. Houston's going to be. They have to be. But I guess, do we know the status on Will Fuller? I think he's a really big factor in this Houston offense. When he's not healthy, Brandon Cooks cannot be a wide receiver 1. He needs to be more of a complement to Will Fuller, even though they're kind of similar in their skill sets. But Will Fuller's just a much bigger guy. So I don't know. There are a lot. Vegas did a great job with this number. I'll put it at that. Or the market at least corrected it when it was at 5.5, and they did it quickly.
Yeah, they did it because we literally looked up Monday before the Monday night game is when we record the recap show, and the line already moved, which is pretty incredible. So shout out to all the sharps out there. Sia, how do you feel about this one, especially now with it -4 to Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I like it at -4, and I'm a little worried about it because of that market correction. I assume that's some sharp correction too. So I don't necessarily want to be on the other side of that number, but I just, I understand where we're coming from with Houston in terms of what they've had to play in week 1 and week 2, really tough. But it's not like Pittsburgh is some like middling team. I mean, the AFC, I personally think Pittsburgh might be the 3rd best team in the AFC, and I don't really think that's a super controversial statement. So you're basically playing the first, 2nd and maybe 3rd or 4th best team in the AFC. And I think it's going to be a little bit more of the same. I just think Houston has too many holes and Pittsburgh is too good on defense. I don't think Big Ben is really where he needs to be yet. And, now we're in week 3, he might actually get there and we might see him spread it around, even better than he has the first 2 weeks. So I don't want to be on a lot of favorites this week, but this one I'm going to go ahead and jump aboard. I'll take Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think, you make a great point. I think that this poor Texans team, I don't know if we'll ever find out who they really are because, I mean, first off, they're already hurt. I mean, surprise, like that. You can't be surprised by any of that. They lost DeAndre Hopkins, and they opened up with 3 of the hardest teams in the AFC, potentially in the entire league. I mean, it just sucks. You start 0-3, you're really not making the playoffs. That barely ever happens. So it's unfortunate. Deshaun Watson got paid, though. Shout out to Deshaun Watson. Glad he made his money. I am always for that. So looks like we're leaning Pittsburgh, but we'll see what happens there. We will now go to MetLife Stadium one more time. We'll see who gets injured this week. San Francisco traveling back to the East Coast to play the Giants. San Francisco opened up as 6.5-point favorites. That got bet down to 4, and the line opened at 42.5, and that just came down a little bit. You can get at 42, 41.5. Sia, we'll start with you. I mean, you were all over the Bears last week. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You were all over the Giants last week. You were 100% correct on that. Yes, great call. Great call. Kudos. How do you feel about the 49ers this week? Most likely potentially missing Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's on the fence. It sounds like Nick Mullen's going to start. They are down Raheem Mostert. They are down Tevin Coleman. They are down Deebo Samuel. Brandon Ayuk, I don't think is going to play. Half of their defensive line. Richard Sherman's not playing. Is there anyone I'm missing? I think that's everybody. Right?
Is Kittle supposed to be back?
Oh, yeah. He was limited in practice. Thank you. So He may or may not play there as well.
I'm guessing he's not going to play. I'm guessing he's out.
Me too. So how do you like this line? 6.5 to 4 quickly. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I understand the line shift. There's something I really like in this game, and it has nothing to do with the side. It has to do with the total. I love the over in this game. Both defenses right now are bad. In fact, with these San Francisco injuries, both defenses aren't just bad, but potentially like bottom 5, bottom 8 defenses in the NFL. So for this line to be 42, by the way, Nick Mullins is not a huge downgrade from Jimmy Garoppolo. He's been in the system for a long time. He's got plenty of playing time over the last couple of years. And he honestly to me, he's a 1B to Jimmy Garoppolo's 1A. And by the way, that's more of a criticism of Jimmy Garoppolo than it is praise of Nick Mullins. But the point is, he's very comfortable with this Kyle Shanahan offense. And the two running backs that are injured, since when has that really mattered for Kyle Shanahan? Jeff Wilson is fine. Jerick McKinnon is fine. Those guys are going to look just like Tevin Coleman and Raheem Mostert in terms of how they run against this particular defense. And then, the receivers are just a hodgepodge of guys. And so what? That's what Kyle Shanahan. It's not a big deal. So I just think with the defensive issues, I think we're going to fly over 42. If I had to take a side, I'd actually probably take the Giants again. I think it's going to be a really, really close game, but I'd rather just take the over here and just root for the points.
Rooting for points, baby. That is what we are here for. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan does not give a shit who his running back is, as we've seen his entire tenure in the NFL. And we saw Nick Mullins on the field. I might not 100% agree with you. He's a 1B. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is we remember that terrible throw in the Super Bowl. I still think he's a pretty solid quarterback. I don't think they're re-signing him or anything, but I think he's a pretty solid quarterback. So there may be some drop-off there. But I definitely think that I still think San Francisco takes this game. The Giants team is just so bad, and Saquon's not there. Sterling Shepard is out. It's bad. It's a bad team. Defense sucks. It is what it is. Sticks, how do you feel about this game?
Jeff Wilson season.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I picked him up in like every league I could. Not on waivers. I waited for everyone else to pick up McKinnon, and I slipped in and grabbed Wilson. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that.
You bet. Yeah. There you go. Jeff Wilson season. End of comment.
End of comment. So
I do like the over. No, I think I like the over. It's just probably too sloppy of a game for me to invest in. But if Jeff Wilson flies under the radar at 4K on DraftKings, haven't checked his price on FanDuel yet. That'll be a ghost. Or if one of you guys got FanDuel up, go ahead. But Jeff Wilson season this week.
I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right now, I'll be stacking this game in some of my DFS plays because the over under is so low that it's just gonna not many people are gonna be on this from a stack standpoint, and I really think this is gonna get closer to 50 than it's gonna be at 42.
I can see that happening. I just love that 20% of the field is on Jerick McKinnon. I will 100%. There you go. Jeff Wilson's my 3 touchdown guy, I guess, this week. Well, every guy I call has to score 3 touchdowns apparently so far. So I hope it's not actually him that I'm relying on, but I'm going to have a lot of Jeff Wilson this week.
I kind of am hoping because I could only imagine what that prop bet is. What that's got to be.
It's going to be like 24 yards, and he'll hit it on the first carry.
Whatever, man. Works for me. I'm excited for that one. So, yeah, that should be a honestly, I actually think that game's going to suck. As you said, Nick, I think it's going to be super sloppy. Daniel Jones has looked bad. Saquon Barkley's not there. The offensive line for the Giants is bad. The defensive line for the 49ers now is bad. So, we'll see. I'm going to watch it, of course, but that's just the
hold on. When Daniel Jones, sorry, Sticks, when Daniel Jones has pressure, he's bad because he turns the ball over. But, they have so many injuries. They have 2 guys on their defensive line, including their best guy in Bosa, that aren't going to be playing in this game. So I'm not saying he's going to have a clean pocket the whole game, but he's got Golden Tate back. Sterling Shepard's out, I understand, but he's got Ingram. He's got Slayton, who's an up-and-coming receiver. Deion Lewis is a great pass catcher. I think Daniel Jones is going to have a pretty good game, actually.
I just want to say, if you're looking to get crazy different in GPPs, and the game script could certainly flip to just back and forth messy shootout that is completely underowned, absolutely. Sia's got a great point there, ladies and gentlemen. I want to stand by that. I do like that game as a potential stack, but we'll get into some others. But yeah, Jeff Wilson season for me.
I appreciate you guys walking me off the ledge a little bit there because the season's already kind of shot. So we'll see what happens with the heart is heavy, man. My heart is heavy. We will move on to Tennessee traveling to Minnesota. Weirdly enough, this game opened as a pick'em at 45.5 for the total. It has now moved to -2, -2.5. It looks like in most places for Tennessee, and the over/under has shot up to 49 in some places. I guess nobody believes in this Minnesota defense. I think we started with you last time, Sia. So Sticks, talk to me a little bit. We've been picking on Minnesota this year in a couple different fronts. Their offenses looked like dog shit, which has been hilarious to watch. Kirk Cousins sucks, and Gardner Minshew is better than Kirk Cousins. Talk to me a little bit about how you like this game, how you like this line, if there's anything you're trying to play here.
Yeah, whatever Dalvin's Cook rushing prop is, sign me up.
Yes, James Robinson, 16 rushes, 102 yards, I think, against that Tennessee team last week. So I like that. I
mean, Denver ran on him too. It's a lucrative spot right now. I don't think a lot of people are going to be on it. I am going to check that right now. Yeah, he is around the 10% range. So without Saquon Barkley, you're going to see these elite running backs go up in ownership. So don't think like 15% is a crazy number anymore on a full game slate. Last week, 15% is pretty damn high. It's another full slate this week with more afternoon games, so that's nice. We get a little more to watch in the afternoon. But yeah, 15% is something that I'd usually try to find a way to fade it. But this week without Saquon, and whatever.
So Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. So the two top dogs, arguably, for PPR setups are out. So if Dalvin Cook's going to be around 10%, I'm sure that's going to go up later this week, but that's something that has me very, very interested in. I thought Tannehill would be chalk just because the whole thing about picking on Minnesota secondary has been such a lucrative thing for DFS. And, well, I guess 1 week, but no one expected a whole lot out of Phil Rivers. He doesn't chuck it. His ADOT is terrible. So that is something I am very interested in. And for Tennessee, they're throwing the ball a lot more than they did last year. It's early, so these stats take them with a grain of salt. But last year, Tennessee only threw the ball 26.9 times a game. Extremely run heavy. That's what we all think. We all think Derrick Henry's getting 35, 40 carries. Now this year, they're throwing 35.5% of the time, which is just below average, but if the way to beat Minnesota is through the air, Tennessee's going to do that. So I am kind of interested in seeing where this ownership goes. Is A.J. Brown good to go?
I think he's still questionable.
I mean, yeah, questionable. I think he's going to be out again, personally.
Damn. Okay, so that hurts a little bit. I'm certainly not heavily invested in playing Corey Davis, but if A.J. Brown's back, I'm going to have a lot of interest in Tannehill, A.J. Brown. I'm not sure I'm going to chase the Jonnu points. I got to look at how Minnesota guards the tight end a little bit more with their coverage because it has just been usually in the zone that Green Bay tore apart. But yeah, I mean, if A.J. Brown plays, Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, and a little Dalvin Cook on the other side, I like that.
I like it. How do you feel about? Are you placing any money anywhere? The over, the under, -2.5?
No, I don't. A.J. Brown means so much to me in this game, so I got to wait and see till I see what's going on with him. But it looks like the public thinks he's playing. I mean, the line moved from 1 to 2.5. It's probably at 3 on some books. I haven't seen 3 posted yet. Westgate looks like it's getting very close to that number right now, and that's a pretty sharp book. So I think I'm going to wait and see until A.J. Brown. 49 seems like a lot of points, especially with how bad Kirk Cousins and company is. But if Dalvin Cook could break 2 deep runs or something and put 14 on the board himself real quick, 49 could definitely get over if Tennessee's playing up pace and passing the ball like we've seen them do the last 2 games.
Love it. Sia, how about you? How do you feel about this over-under, this line, especially it moving that much? I mean, Minnesota's defense is bad. I think they just put somebody else on IR.
Anthony Barr.
Yeah, there we go. Another person down. Everson Griffin gone. Danielle Hunter gone. Their entire secondary gone. I mean, at this point, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah, and I think this line is going to tick up to 3 for sure at some point, whether or not A.J. Brown comes back or not, because of those defensive injuries. I mean, the Anthony Barr thing, I mean, for a defense that's already really bad and basically has, rookies in their secondary, not even really like good, talented rookies, at least relative to the field. This is one of those games where, at the beginning of the show where I said, 40% of what we should be evaluating is what we thought about these teams before the season, and 60% is what we saw. Like, I think that 40% kind of comes in here because I would imagine every single person that looks at this line, and I'm really referring to like Joe Public here too, they're like, oh my God, they only have to win by a field goal. Like, this is so easy. I mean, like, I'm going to cash in. I'm going to put all my money on this. It's just not that easy. And I just think Kirk Cousins and Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen, I think it's just going to be kind of a turnaround spot for them at home. And I understand home field advantage isn't really a huge deal, but this is such a fishy line to me. It was fishy where it opened, and to me, it's still fishy at 2.5. And so I'm going to be leaning. I do want to hear the A.J. Brown news, but right now I'm leaning on Minnesota because I think this is a team that's better than what we've seen in week 1 and week 2.
All right. I like that. You've been on Minnesota. You were on Minnesota last week. Didn't work out so well.
I was. I did not work out.
We'll see. Crazier things have happened. We like saying when we're right, of course. That's always fun, but we got to remember, where our roots come from, I guess, right? Joe Public. Got to love that guy. Let's move on. Oh, I think, I think I'm rolling with Joe Public on this one. I think Tennessee wins. I think they're much better than Minnesota. And I think people are still thinking, again, like that Seattle defense that sucks now. We're kind of thinking like, oh no, Minnesota, they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. And I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. I want a good game, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's another clunker from Kirk Cousins, 11 of 27 for 115 and 2 picks. That wouldn't surprise the hell out of me at all. So let us move to the Washington Football Club is traveling to Cleveland, Ohio to take on the Brownies. This game opened at 5.5 to Cleveland. It's now moved up to 7. Over under of, it looks like about 44 and a half in some places. Not too bad. Sia, this is your team, Washington Football Club. Front 7, incredible. Dwayne Haskins looks terrible. Terry McLaurin looks great, though. Wish someone could throw him the ball even more than you're already doing. Talk to me about this line. How do you feel this game might play out a little bit?
I actually don't think Haskins looks as bad as I kind of thought he would look. I mean, they are kind of containing him a little bit and not letting him sort of cut it loose, which is obviously a good coaching move. So I think 7 is just too many points, frankly. I understand the game script by which Cleveland dominates this game and like establishes the run and then, hits this terrible Washington secondary deep. But I also see the game script where the front 7 really sort of neutralizes the run and then requires Baker to pass on 3rd and long or 3rd and 4. And Baker's not going to be able to get the ball off against, this front 7. So anytime I see a 7 or in some places it's 7.5 now, I'm going to be looking at the dog. And this one with this defense, with this front 7 against Baker Mayfield, it's a lot different when you're going against Kyler Murray because we talked about it last week, right? I said Kyler Murray is going to be able to scramble and he's just going to have a field day against this defense. But Baker Mayfield isn't that guy. He's one of the most unathletic quarterbacks in the league. And here we are with a 7-point dog. I'll go ahead and take the dog here.
Laying a little thick on there. I don't think Baker Mayfield's that unathletic. I agree. He's definitely a pocket passer.
Oh, look at his combine numbers. His combine numbers are like hilarious. I think he ran like probably. He ran like a 10-second 40.
Oof.
He ran like a 1-minute 40.
Okay. Now he ran an hour 40, I bet. Sticks, how do you feel about this game? The line moving all the way up to 7.5 towards Cleveland there. I know it's in Cleveland, but that doesn't really mean anything anymore.
They got fans there, I think, right?
I mean, 10, 15, whatever it is. The tailgates are going to be nuts. I've been to a tailgate in Cleveland. Anybody, if you go to Cleveland on a Sunday for a Browns home game, I promise you, go to the Muni lot. MUNI, go to the Muni lot. It's insane. Loved every second of it. I'm sorry, Sticks. Talk to me a little bit about
You're good. No, I took Cleveland when it was 5.5 because Stefanski and the running game. That's it.
Is this another smash spot for the Chubby Hunts, the Hunty Chubs? I don't know. We have to come up with a nickname for them.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time getting a game script for this one. 80 Mile likes Nick Chubb. It doesn't love him, but that's the thing. I mean, Cincinnati was fighting back in that game, so that's what kept Kareem Hunt in the game script. So that's why I'm leaning Chubb here. But I don't know. It's tough. I usually love this offense when they're a big home favorite because that just means Nick Chubb, some Kareem Hunt. But 5.5, it was just too low for me with what I think is the second or third best running offense in the NFL.
I like that.
I just don't know how was Washington going to score points. Cleveland's defense is not that bad at all. I think their corners are really solid and getting better. I mean, I love watching Denzel Ward. That dude is fast as hell. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how Washington can score. That's my issue here. So I think Cleveland could run the hell out of the ball down their throat. But I'd love to see a big game from Antonio Gibson. He scored a touchdown last week, so that's cool.
That was one of the things I was going to say. I think this is, I haven't been on Antonio Gibson week 1 or week 2 in daily fantasy because I think people were presuming a volume that really wasn't going to be there. But I actually think this week, I don't think the volume, it's not going to he's going to get 20 carries or even 18, but I think there's going to be enough volume to actually use him in daily fantasy and be very comfortable with your floor. So I do like him. I do want to point out, though, that Brandon Scherf, they're one of their elite offensive linemen, and they don't have many of those. In fact, he's probably the only one. He's injured. He's out for a few weeks. So the backup isn't terrible, but that's going to be a problem for Haskins and the running game in general. There's one other note I did want to mention, and I forgot when we were talking about the San Francisco game. They did not travel back to California after the Jets game. They actually went to the Greenbrier in West Virginia, which has actually hosted some training camps. So they took a very short flight to West Virginia. And then now they're going to go back to MetLife and play the Giants. So my point is they didn't have to like travel all the way back to California, adjust with the time zones and stuff like that. They had a facility to practice at. So do not bake in the travel to the San Francisco New York Giants game.
I like that. And that's the insight you're getting here at Win Daily Sports, man. At Sia Najad. Go follow him. He is disparaging Josh Allen day in and day out. I think the Browns win. I don't know if they win by 7 or 7.5. That might be a little difficult. Also, the under on this one. That's the thing. Like, I don't see Washington scoring 14 points, and I don't see the Browns scoring 31. So I feel like the under. Is a fun place to go. So we'll see what happens there. Let us move on. We have the Cincinnati Bengals, the Joe and Joe show, going to Philadelphia to face Carson Wentz. Sia and I are going to say a lot of mean things about Philadelphia. So, Nick, you muted yourself, but I was actually going to go to you first. So Sia and I can have our show where we just say a lot of mean things about Philly. So I'll go to you first. We have this line. It opened at 5.5. It's about 5.5 everywhere for Philadelphia as of right now. It didn't really move on the total either. 46.5. Carson Wentz looked terrible this year. Joe Burrow looked like a lot of fun. I don't know. Where are you going with this game, Nick?
I think this is the Joe Mixon week, folks. Finally coming. I'm not positive yet, so don't get your panties in a bundle, Ghost. I know you love when I say it's the Joe Mixon week. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to go with Joe Burrow. I don't think this guy is going to lose many games against average teams. Philly is an average team at best. I don't think he's going to lose he's going to give them a chance to win the game. So 5.5 was definitely the best number. You could still get that 5 on DraftKings. That's pretty solid. Caesars in Vegas right now. If you're in Nevada, go drive out there and lay a big one. They're at 5.5. So I like Joe Burrow. I think I'm a fanboy now. I just love how he took an ass beating last week and still gave them a chance to win the football game. 60 pass attempts or 61 and no picks. I like him a lot. The dude's going to run for first downs. He just does whatever he can to keep his team in the ball game. That offensive line is terrible. I feel tremendously scared for Joe Burrow's health every time he drops back. But Philly's pass rush really isn't a thing right now. Their run defense that everybody used to tout is ranked like 19th in run DVOA so far this season, so you could run on them. That's why I like Joe Mixon on the low. What is his ownership real quick? Right around the 10% range as well. He's 5,900 on DraftKings. Oh, my God. Why? He's one of the last elite running backs left right now, and he's priced down. Oh, my gosh. They're just giving you plays. Ghost, it's probably Joe Mixon week. Sorry, buddy.
Ghost, take notes, man. Take notes. We know you are.
I like Cincinnati cover. I am kind of interested in the over in this game, but we'll see. We'll see how pass-heavy Philly's going to go because it seemed like once they really trusted that Miles Sanders was healthy last week, that's what they were doing. So I don't blame him. I mean, he's a hell of a player.
He looked very good. I'm surprised he looked that healthy and they gave him that much of a workload after him missing the first start of the season, which was really interesting. See ya. Here we go, man. We can say whatever we want. The floor is ours. I'll let you go first. What do you think about this game?
I mean, first of all, I can't wait to dig up old live stream clips where I was just tearing Carson Wentz apart, and now it's like kind of come to fruition in this small sample size of a season we have. So, and you know me, I will absolutely dig that up because it'll take me like an hour, but I just want to me. I'm so self-absorbed. I need to look good on social media.
Yeah, that's why you're in such good shape is because you just do nothing but victory laps. Like anybody that runs that much is going to be in fine shape. So.
You're tired, man. You're getting tired from all this victory laps.
That's fair. My cardio is in order. So I agree with Nick. This 5 points is too much. If this was like 3, I might consider the Eagles, but I think these two teams are just from a talent perspective are very similar. And by the way, I agree that Joe Burrow might turn into the next Andrew Luck because Cincinnati keeps failing him. Now they got their left tackle back that they had from 2 years ago who got injured. That's Jonah Williams. Mm-hmm. But instead of drafting T. Higgins, they could have taken another tackle or guard or center, and they decided not to. They decided to take T. Higgins when they had Auden Tate, they had Ross, they had AJ Green coming back from injury, Boyd, and I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, Erickson, I suppose. So such a dumb move by management. I think Cincinnati and the Los Angeles Chargers are in this sort of zone where nobody gets to question what they're doing. It's like the fact that Anthony Lynn still has a job is amazing. I can't wait to get to that game. But long story short, 5 points is way too much. I think Philly's going to be super motivated, but I don't think that gets you very far. They're still depleted at receiver. They still have some issues with their offensive line. And Carson Wentz is still the new Carson Wentz, as opposed to the guy that was breaking the pocket because he was injury free and, scrambling and stuff. Like, he's not doing that anymore because kind of he can't. So, yeah, I'll take Joe Burrow and company. And I agree. This is probably a good Mixon game. The problem with Mixon, he only has 6 targets on the season. And, like last year, I think he had 66 catches. And I don't understand sort of why they're not leaning on him in terms of dumping the ball off. I guess Burrow's looking downfield, which is great. But that's a little discouraging for DraftKings, where you're getting a full point for a reception and Mixon's not getting the workload there.
Nick?
Joe Mixon will be involved in the passing game this week because they're not going to be getting blown out early. That is the spots you always want Mixon. So Giovanni Bernard, 1, he's healthy. That's not going to last. But 2, they were down so early in Cleveland, he had to start going. So, and same with week 1 too. That was obviously just a tough spot. They couldn't run at all on Los Angeles? They played first week, Chargers. But yeah, that's a spot. I think this is the week we see Mixon get 5-6 targets in this game because it's going to be close. And they need their best player on the field, and he's really all they got right now outside of, AJ Green. He looks solid, but 13 targets last week and only 5 catches or 4 catches, whatever it was. We needed 5 for the prop, so it must have been 4. And yeah, Tyler Boyd. I think this is a good spot for Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, Tyler Boyd.
I think this is going to be a really fun game to watch. It's going to be competitive, but add Green Bay to that hole. It doesn't matter what they do apparently, because with the coaching that he was bringing out for every other team and Cincinnati not drafting a lineman like everybody in the world thought they would, because it was a free square. That's what that team needed to protect Joe Burrow, the guy they just paid up for, or they didn't trade up for him or anything like that, but like that is the future and they all knew it. But yeah, Green Bay, you could sure use a wide receiver too right now, huh, boys?
Boys, yes. We'll get to Green Bay. Actually, no, I think they're the Sunday night. Oh, well, we'll probably get there. We'll talk about all of it. We do love it. Yeah, I think Cincinnati, I don't think they end up winning this game, unfortunately. I do think they cover that 5.5, 5 points. If you can find 5.5, maybe even get it at 6 if you're down. Maybe the Barstool Sportsbook open down in Philly. Maybe you can get some dumb idiots that bet that game up to 6, 6.5. So definitely take Cincinnati there. But I think the Eagles have looked like trash. It's been all of my dreams have come true for this season outside of the Cowboys winning that ridiculous game. And we'll get to Cowboys and the Falcons a little bit later. But Carson Wentz, man, he does not look good. Miles Sanders does, in that one game that he played, already kind of hurt for the season, though. So we'll see how long that lasts. Jalen Reagor tore a unilateral ligament in his thumb. I thought you only had one of those in your elbow, so found something new out today. He is going to be placed on injured reserve, it looks like. So, yes, as we were making fun of the Eagles earlier this year for having no wide receivers, they're legitimately down to Greg Ward. They are down to Dallas Goedert, and we have Zach Ertz. So I'm excited for Nick to tell us with the 80 model if we're just trying to stack the tight ends on that game, because that would be very interesting to say the least. Nick?
I think this is a good game stack. I really like it.
I love it. I
think this is where my heart tells me 80 model likes him for the prelims, but I just don't have enough data yet ready to go. And I mean, Burrow's at 0% ownership right now. His price is pretty high though, but the dude runs, and Zach Taylor's offense is known to throw 45 times a game. That's just kind of who they are. I'm sure this is a week they're going to lean on Mixon again a little bit more, but if they're throwing 35 times a game, 37, 38, and 5 or 6 of those go to Mixon, we're in business. So I like it.
Joe Cool, baby. I am all for it. And yes, if you feel confident in that game stack, 1 second. See, I'm getting back to that promotion thing that we talked about. If you are feeling confident in that game stack, make sure windailysports.com/DK. We are running a free roll on DraftKings. Top 50 places get free memberships to Win Daily Sports for various time frames, of course. But the number one spot, they get a free membership for a lifetime on windailysports.com. And they are interviewed personally and poetically and professionally by our Sia Najad. Sia, I'm going to throw it back to you. You had one more point on this game. I'm sorry, bud.
No, I was going to say I'm not a big AJ Green guy, and he's been a little underwhelming, and I think Burrow sort of set him up on a couple passes that were kind of like dangerous for AJ Green as far as I'm concerned. But he is one of the leaders in air yards, and you wouldn't know that just from looking at his total yardage in terms of what he's actually caught. But he is kind of he does have that upside that I don't think we're really seeing. But the air yards are definitely there for AJ Green. So my point is if you were going to do a stack, I mean, at this point, I would almost think it would be contrarian to take AJ Green versus a Tyler Boyd, because I think Tyler Boyd is more the household name right now. I'm not looking at the percentages, so I'm just kind of saying that. I know Nick probably has it in front of him, but I think AJ Green is kind of a sneaky play this week.
AJ Green, we are looking at 1%.
There we go.
So it's early. That's going to change, but usually they don't go up that much unless injuries come in. And it looks like Rager's going on IR. So, yeah, you like Michael said, it's tight ends or bust for Philly and Miles Sanders on the back end. Oh, this game has so many good options. I really like it. And, I mean, is Darius Slay's probably going to shadow AJ Green? That's my only concern. So I just want to pick on Avonte Maddox. That's tough.
I love it. Keep going. I'll listen to this.
It was AJ Green on Maddox, but Slay has been shadowing exclusively pretty much all year long. Boyd's in a good spot against Nicole Roby-Coleman on the inside, but like Sia said, I mean, Boyd's going to have way more ownership. Let's see what that is. Sorry, we're making this half a DFS show too. I mean, Boyd, no one's on Boyd right now either, so
love it.
This game is probably the nut stack right now. Just get Seattle, Dallas in there some way, somehow as a complimentary stack, if you will, and enjoy the free money. There you go.
Free money, everybody. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help you make some money. So let's move on. I think we're only like halfway through the slate, and it's almost been an hour, guys. So at least we're having fun, right? At least we're having some fun. We are on to Chicago, going to Atlanta. Game opened at 3.5 to Atlanta. Looks like you can still get it 3.5 to Atlanta. And looks like the total is 47.5 at most books currently. Sia, I'll start with you. How does Atlanta blow this game?
They don't. They cover. I think conventional wisdom is, and I've heard this on podcasts too this week. Like, it's like, I'm not taking any bet where Atlanta has to give points. And I understand where you're coming from there, but I think this is going to be a shootout. Okay. And I think if you're in a shootout and it's Trubisky versus Matt Ryan, and if we add in the weapons that these teams have, I just don't think Trubisky's going to keep up. I mean, I don't think the Bears defense is as vaunted as it used to be. And the weapons that Matt Ryan has at his disposal, particularly at the wide receiver position and the tight end position, not so much the running back position, I think are just going to be overwhelming. And honestly, the bad taste in Atlanta's mouth, I think they're going to be looking to blow this team out and keep the foot on the gas. So I like Atlanta here.
We'll see. Julio Jones, hamstring tightness. I spent a lot of my fab budget on him this past week. So, yikes. Nick, talk to me a little bit about this game. How does Mitchell Trubisky, or how does the Bears defense stand on the last second for the third game in a row?
I'm not going to lie. I am building lineups with Cincinnati and Philly stacks right now. I'm so excited, dude.
Appreciate the honesty.
Great. Zach Ertz price went down too. No, Bears, Atlanta. I'm locked into this game too. It looks like this line's going to just stay at 3. The public is heavy on Atlanta. I don't know. I think I'm with Sia. I think Atlanta at home, they should blow the doors off these guys, because you could run on the Bears, but what is Todd Gurley right now? He looks like he's 50 years old. That's what, like, this is the last week, and we said it on the Monday podcast too. This is the last week I'll ever consider Gurley. He needs to earn it right now. I don't know, but like, how is Atlanta going to stop the Bears from scoring? It's a subpar offense, certainly, but like, this is a great DFS game too. Allen Robinson against Isaiah Oliver. That's trouble. That is big time trouble. And I'll give you a flyer right now on whatever his player prop is. So the Bears are running a lot of 12 set. So the 2 tight ends, a lot of people don't think that that's something that they do, but yeah, Demetrius Harris, the old backup for Travis Kelce. I am a Demetrius Harris truther. I don't know if there's anybody else in the world that could say that, but I think this guy is extremely, extremely talented. I did make a Twitter bet right when the Bears signed him and said he'd be a top 15 tight end. Not a bold stance by any means. And then they draft Cole Kmet, and then they get Jimmy Graham. So I was like, damn it, that sucks. Now, Demetrius Harris scores a touchdown this week, I'll tell you that. But as far as the spread, I don't know. I think the Bears do not want to get in a shootout with Atlanta. That is not going to bode well for them, even though their pass defense looks pretty damn solid. That rookie corner that they drafted, I already forgot his name for some reason. I don't know why I did. It'll come to me. Don't get me too wrong here. Jalen Johnson, that dude's a stud, man. Absolute stud. Great draft pick by the Bears. They could always draft defensive guys. It just seems like they never miss there. But I don't know. I think I'm with Sia. I'm going to lean Atlanta just because if the Bears cannot establish the running game early, and if Atlanta scores early, it's not going to bode well for the Bears because they just can't play a shootout. But I don't know. How's Atlanta going to handle the pass rush? This game's too tough. No bet for me. And I don't know. I just
did you watch that? See, did you watch that whole thing? He just the hamster wheel just kept going and going. Oh no, and I love it.
All I heard was I don't know several times. That's all. I don't know what else he said. I'll tell you this. From a DFS standpoint, I do think this is a very stackable game. And regardless of what I think about Atlanta, I mean, I think if you put Trubisky and Allen Robinson in a stack with, maybe Calvin Ridley on the other end, I think Trubisky could have a really, really big game here against this defense. Yep.
We'll see. I'll bet the over on Allen Robinson's prop again. If you tell me to, Sticks, that's what I will do there. Let us move on. We're going to the Jets traveling to Indianapolis. My goodness, this game opened at -7 to the Colts. It is up to -11. Nobody believes in the Jets, I guess. The Colts already, I think, were the biggest favorite to lose this year at 8 or 8.5. So just of note, Nick, how do you feel about the Jets and their ridiculously bad offense? Okay, here's a better question. Does Adam Gase get on the plane to go home?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know how that guy has a job. This is tough. 11 points, though. That's so many. Yeah. And Indy wants to run the ball. The Jets do have a solid run defense. I know Mostert broke a big one, but after that, they contained him rather well. McKinnon had a solid game, too. But I don't know. I don't mess with 11 points. I would say, I mean, can you even tease the Jets up 6 points, 7 points, and feel confident, though? Like, can they come within 20? Indy's not going to be a team that routes anybody. No, so I don't know, but I don't know. I have no stance on this game at all. It's so ugly. It's like the Giants and San Fran.
The over-under of 44, taking the under sounds pretty enticing to me because as we saw, the Jets only scored 6 points against half of the 49ers defense last week. Sia, how do you feel about this game? Are you putting any money anywhere?
Yeah, I think over 4 quarters, I think the Colts probably cover this line. This isn't going to be one of my stronger plays by any means, but it's just the Jets are just so bad. I mean, if they were healthy, if they had Le'Veon and they had some of their receivers, I don't think Crowder's playing this week. I'm pretty certain Perryman's not playing this week. So it's basically Braxton Berrios and a Chris Herndon that seems to be staying in to block more than he is to run routes. So they just don't have any weapons. I mean, so over the course of 4 quarters, I think Phillip Rivers is a terrible quarterback, but it doesn't really matter because I think it's Jonathan Taylor and Naheem Hines that have big games on Sunday.
Yes, I agree. I don't think Phil Rivers has to do too much. Nick, I forgot. I wanted to tell you, Sia was one of the 20% that was on Brashad Perryman last week. Do you have any kind words to leave him with as we move on to the next game?
No, just listen to the Monday podcast if you want to get into that. If not, it's probably
I already said some things.
My team
gave me good reasons.
No, my team. It's funny. My team that finished second out of 2,000 that got me $3K on Sunday actually had Perryman on it. Believe it or not. And he had 2 catches for 12 yards before he got injured. I mean, at the very least, we could say he would have had 6 catches for 50 yards as a floor in that game, right? As a floor.
Sure. I think so.
So, yeah. I mean, so it's not that bad of a play since he had, potential touchdown equity too in a game like that. I'm not saying he would have scored a touchdown, but I think if your floor on DraftKings is 10 or 11 and you're $3,800 and you have a chance to score a touchdown, I'm okay with that.
20%. Just saying. Just a crazy high number. Also, touchdown equity in the Jets sounds like an oxymoron.
That's true. That's fair.
All right, man. I appreciate the hell out of you. You know that, but like, come on, we gotta be honest where honesty is. Let's move on to the Carolina Panthers and the LA Chargers. The Panthers will be without CMC. Unfortunately, everyone went and picked up Mike Davis, so I'm curious to see what he does this week. The Chargers will be without Tyrod Taylor. If you have not heard, and Sia is our medical expert, so we're going to go to him first. Tyrod Taylor's team doctor stabbed him in the lung. puncturing his lung. And yes, I gave that a little extra flair, but that's essentially what happened. The Chargers team doctor, is that, like, again, we were talking about the Cincinnati Bengals and how stupid they are, but we also talk about how bad and just consistently wrong the Chargers are. It's kind of like my Mets. It's just, what are they doing? You should probably do the opposite, but they're not going to. Sia, talk to me a little bit from a medical perspective. Have you ever stabbed anybody in the lung before?
Well, first of all, I'm the legal expert of Win Daily, so
I know
there's a lawsuit coming. But no, in my experience treating patients, I've never stabbed anybody in the lungs.
Okay, cool.
Never.
Cool.
Hey, I got the lineup if anybody wants to know it.
1 second. John Deere says, "What's up? What's up, John Deere? You have any questions for us? Let us know." Sticks, what do you got?
I got the lineup. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
All right. Burrow, Mixon, Sanders, Boyd, CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Lockett. There's my little Dallas Seattle exposure. Zach Ertz, Josh Kelly, Chargers D, 100K. I'm going to submit, and everybody could go into the same contest, and we'll split it. It'll be nice. I don't need all of that.
Well, did you put it into the windailysports.com/DK? That way you could do the Win Daily free roll. You could win the tournament.
I'll do that. There you go. You guys know what I'm doing.
It's just this ironic, well, do you does Sia interview you? Like, are you just going to interview him? It's going to be weird. Sia, what do you got?
I'm so glad you mentioned Josh Kelly because not only did I have a tease that involved Kansas City, which ended up hitting because Anthony Lynn doesn't know how to coach, but I also had Eckler in that 3K team as well. So in the fourth quarter, when they were inside the red zone, it was Josh Kelly season on first and second down every single time. And at the time that was happening in the fourth quarter and into overtime, he had 24 carries and was averaging 2.8 yards per carry. Whereas Austin Eckler, the veteran, the proven guy, had 15 carries at 5.9 yards per carry. So I'm really not understanding. And by the way, when Josh Kelly is lined up at the backside of the eye, obviously, like every single time they were just running it up the middle with him. So it's not like, at least with Eckler, you have the potential that you're going to be a pass catching running back in that instance. It was super frustrating. And it's example 155 of things that Anthony Lynn has done wrong since being on the sidelines in Los Angeles. And I honestly, it's very frustrating because I'm sure it's frustrating for Vegas because if the Chargers had won that game, every single bet that had Kansas City attached to a money line parlay or a tease would have lost, which was probably like 50 to 60% of the related plays, the teasers or the parlays. And it just, Anthony Lynn just couldn't figure it out. It just seemed so easy for me. It seemed like that game was there for the taking. And, here we are, Anthony Lynn. That's my rant.
Sia's weekly complaint on Anthony Lynn. So we will see. I think Nick just tipped his cap to you because he 100% agrees. In terms of the game, though, no Christian McCaffrey either. That's going to kind of sink. 6.5 to the Chargers. Justin Herbert's second start. I know Carolina's a team we've been picking on a little bit this year, but 6.5 sounds like a lot of points.
Sounds like a lot of points.
Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
No, it sounds like a lot of points for a team that, the Chargers are like the most run-heavy team in the NFL right now. So I don't see them blowing out Carolina. Carolina's moving the ball through the air very, very well. For the lack of personnel that they have on that team, Matt Rule's offense is pretty impressive. I really do enjoy that. I think that, Casey Hayward and Chris Harris. Casey Hayward's not the player he was a couple of years ago. He just seems extremely beatable. I know Kansas City literally picked on him the whole time. They didn't really go to Chris Harris or anything like that because Harris still has game, and that's my boy. But I respect Carolina's offense. They weren't necessarily force feeding Christian McCaffrey, so it's not like he was the focal point of that offense. It's Robbie Anderson and it's DJ Moore right now. We don't even really see Curtis Samuel. So 6.5, it's a lot of points for a team that I don't think could blow the doors off of anybody. Herbert's likely to start again, right? He's with a punctured lung. I don't see Tyrod playing anytime soon. So 6.5 to a rookie for a team that runs a ton, it just seems like a lot. It should be more like 4.5, 5. So I do like Carolina here. I'm with Sia big time. And Vegas hasn't moved the line at all. 65% of the tickets are on the Chargers, and it's sitting right at Carolina. So I would love to see it get to 7. I would not be surprised if Sharp Money kind of played line manipulation here. They bet the Chargers very big, get that line to 7, then they bet twice as much on the other side at that 7 because that's the line they really want with Carolina. I don't have the bankroll to bet 100K on the Chargers to get it to Carolina +7 and then bet $200K on Carolina. But if anybody wants to loan me some money and that's legal, Sia, he's our legal guy. Just inquire then for him, and he'll let us know what to do. But yeah, I think that's what I want. I want Carolina and 7.
Carolina and 7. Sia, is that legal? Can you donate $100,000 to Nick and I, and then donate another $200,000 so we can manipulate the line?
Yeah, we'll just start
absolutely legal. 100%.
It is legal. Cool. I live in New Jersey. I can bet literally anywhere I want. It's fucking awesome. Sia, how do you feel about this 6.5?
Yeah, this is probably a stay away for me. Like I like Herbert better than I like Tyrod, and I wouldn't have said that before the season, but he looked really good. And Tyrod is just, I mean, I feel like the offense is in quicksand every time Tyrod's behind center. So I love how Herbert looked, but at the same time, now a coach actually has a week to actually game plan for this rookie. So I don't think he's going to look quite as good. Although, this is a very young Carolina defense that has, a lot of just missing parts and just rookies, frankly. So you can make the argument either way, which is why this is a stay away game for me. But yeah, 6.5 is probably a little bit too much. As impressive as the Chargers looked last week, Bridgewater, he's 4th in passing yards. I think I'm looking at it now. Yeah, he's 4th in passing yards with 637 yards. So he can definitely sling it around. He doesn't have a lot of touchdown passes because all of that was going to CMC. But I mean, they've got a good receiver core, and you can expose the Chargers on the back end. So it should be a relatively close game. I expect the Chargers to win for sure, though.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that 6.5 is just a little too much for me. I also think Teddy Bridgewater, while he does have a lot of passing yards, they've been down pretty big in both games so far this year. So I think game script and prevent defense, you always, what is your line against the prevent defense? Yeah, I love it every time.
Yeah. Passing against the prevent defense is undefeated.
Literally undefeated. So let's pay attention to that, everybody. A couple more games here. We're going to Arizona. We have the Detroit Lions going up against the Cardinals. Cardinals were favored by 3.5. That line has moved to 5.5. And holy cow, we can get this over under at 56. Let's go. Let's go. Sia, talk to me. Are we hitting that over on 56? Come on. Give me a yes, please.
We're not. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't touch that. I don't know what to do with this line. I mean, I want to take Arizona, but I don't want to be on a lot of favorites this week because I think there's going to be like a shift because I think we're all kind of going off what we've seen in week 1 and week 2. I think a lot of people are actually going to get kind of killed this week because of that sort of recency bias. So that's why when we're doing this betting lines show, I'm trying to be real careful to like really focus on the underdogs as much as I possibly can. But with that said, Kyler Murray and the passing offense look really good, and Detroit can't stop the run either. So this is actually a game where I could see Kenyon. Like, listen, in DFS, this is obviously a very, quote, stackable game. It'll be a very popular game to stack. And so, potentially you'd want to kind of be off it. This is one of those situations where we had with Sticks Picks recommendation where we had Aaron Jones last week where we were like, okay, everybody's going to be on like D-Hop and Kyler or, Galladay on the way back or whatever. Well, this might be the game where, they have decent games, but it might be the Kenyon Drake game where Drake gets 2 to 3 touchdowns and like the stack doesn't really work out like you intended, but you got the best part of that game out of it and you stacked some other game. So I think from a DFS standpoint, I'm really more focused on this game for that reason. But if I had to pick a line, I just don't think Detroit has enough, and I would take Arizona to cover the spread.
Yeah, Detroit's looked like shit this year. I mean, they should have beat the Bears. We all saw how that happened. They looked like crap, except for like the first 10 minutes against Green Bay. I think they looked okay, and then it got out of hand pretty quick. Sticks, how are you feeling about this game, the line, and if Sia is on with that Kenyon Drake play?
Yeah, I love Arizona's running game in this situation. Run all over Detroit, right? We've been saying it the first 2 weeks. Keep going. No reason to stop now. Number 2 is Kenny Galladay going to play? Everything says it looks like it. If he does, I think this game has a little bit more potential to stay close in favor of Detroit, but I think I like the under. I just don't see Arizona needing to run or needing to throw that much, and their best asset is Kyler Murray with his legs. But, I think my favorite play is the under.
Yeah, 56. I mean, they're baiting you into taking the over there. I mean, that's a college football over under. That is a 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock a.m. ACC game to watch. Beth Moen's on the call. Love Beth. But we all kind of know that those games suck. No, sorry, Beth. They don't give you good assignments. That's not on us. But It's going to be interesting. It's not on us, man. I like Beth Mowins. I think she's good at her job. I don't know why they give her shit assignments all the time. So the one time she got a real game, it was with Rex Ryan. Like, well, come on, man. That's just disrespectful. She's better than that. We will move on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Denver. Bucks are favored by 6. It opened at 3.5. I don't know why it opened so low. 6 kind of makes a little bit more sense. I think the game is going to be close. I don't think Denver's defense is that terrible, and I don't think Denver's offense is surprisingly that terrible with Jeff Driscoll. We'll kind of see, but more importantly, and Sticks, I'll start with you. Does Blake Bortles get into this game? Please tell me.
No chance. You're not going to come in and play and learn that he'd never even learned his own playbook in Jacksonville.
Exactly. What the hell? How many years at that point?
I guess that's true. Blake, just go out there and do whatever you always did and didn't work out. This is a tough one though. I don't like Tampa Bay going into that altitude and laying 6. I think that's a big number. I think Denver is just solid at home regardless. They came close with Pittsburgh last week with Jeff Driscoll. And Jeff Driscoll, that guy could run a little bit too, but I know he's had some big games for Cincinnati back in the day, a couple wins when he shouldn't have. So I like Denver here. It sucks there's no Courtland Sutton, and you can't really run on Tampa Bay. It's probably a pass for me. It just seems like a trap game to take Tampa Bay laying 6 in this altitude. No one really thinks about that. It does affect a lot of players.
100%. Chris Godwin should be back. Rob Gronkowski might run more than 10 routes, so we'll see what happens there. And yes, do not disparage Jeff Driscoll, as everybody knows, Cincinnati legend. Sia, how do you feel about this game? I still think Tampa Bay wins, but Sia, do you think they win by 6?
No, probably not. This is probably a stay away game for me as well, but I like Denver plus the 6 if I had to take it. I agree about the altitude. I just don't, playing at Denver, and Jeff Driscoll looked pretty good last week. You still have a healthy Judy, even though you don't have Sutton. KJ Hamler's about to really step up. I wish they had Phillip Lindsay, but that's not going to be a thing. But 6 points is just too many.
I agree. 6 points is too many. And we have to all say it together. 1, 2, 3. Jeff Driscoll. Great job, guys. Great job, guys. One last point I had on this game. Where is it, Michael? You had it. Where is it? I don't know where it is.
I know what it is. You want me to tell you?
Oh, absolutely. And I know what it is now, too. So please tell me.
Yeah, it's the Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette situation.
Yeah, there we go.
I spent 2 minutes last week talking about basically how Leonard Fournette was a bum. And I'll admit, because Nick came on the Sirius Fantasy Sports Channel Win Daily Show, of course, on Saturday night. He actually called Fournette for a touchdown, which was really impressive. And I think me and Jason Mizrahi were both like, wait, what are you talking about? I know he had 2 touchdougs, but you said –
I didn't call 2. I just meant a piece.
Yeah. Right, but you said he was going to have a touchdown, and that was a pretty big surprise. But part of the reason I think he got in there was because of that missed exchange between Brady and Ronald Jones, which I'm not 100% sure is on Ronald Jones. So it's pretty frustrating when a running back loses his job because of like a missed exchange. And I'm not saying that that's all it was, but that's what it seemed like to me, because he barely saw the field after that. So I'm curious to see how the rushes are divvied up this week. And don't forget, McCoy dropped a couple, including a touchdown pass. He dropped a couple balls as well. So
he's out.
Seems like a factor to avoid.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up, Sia. I'm glad you remembered. And yes, John Deere is Noah Fant in play. Yes, Noah Fant is in play. Jeff Driscoll, remind me, he filled in a little bit for
Lions too.
Stafford last year, right? And he could sling the ball around. Shout out him. Best job in sports is backup quarterback, right? But just want to get this out here because Stovey's on my side. Blake goes out, throws for 400 and a tutty, runs one in, and has 5 picks. I will take that each and every day from my Blake Bortles. I love it. So we'll move on. This is going to be a fun game. The America's Game of the Week. I'm just kind of presuming Dallas and Seattle. Over under again. Hello, we can get this at 56. We have Seattle opened at -3.5. It's now to -5. If you're really feeling Seattle, you can get it -4.5 at William Hill, South Point as well. See it. Talk to me. Cowboys haven't looked great. We all saw what happened last week. We don't really need to talk too much about how bad the Falcons are, but 5 points seems like a lot. I think this Seahawks team isn't really like that incredible. I think Russ is amazing and we've seen what he's done, but 5 points seems like a little too much to me.
Yeah, I agree. And this is probably another stay away game for me, but I like Seattle. I just think Dallas looks so bad on defense. And honestly, Dak, he's piled up the stats, but it's kind of that Matt Ryan thing where he's done it in garbage time. And Seattle just looks so good. Now they did lose Bruce Irvin, so the defense is down one of their guys, if not two. I think it's just Bruce Irvin that tore his ACL. But I just think Seattle looks too good. I want to be real careful not to go off just sort of like the recency bias, what we just saw. But Russell Wilson looks amazing. DK and Tyler Lockett look amazing. Carson looks good. And the defense looks good enough to contain this Dallas team. So obviously, this is a very stackable game. And this is a game that, from a DFS standpoint, I don't think I'll be able to avoid. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing to not stack the Arizona game and have some lineups there, but like I'm going to have some lineups in this game for sure.
Yeah, I think, again, as we've been saying, the Seattle team is not the Legion of Boom people. Their defense kind of sucks. They have zero pass rush. Their corners aren't that great, but they have Jamal Adams, who is an absolute freak, and he is fun to watch fly around the field and see. I think this goes back to the point that you've been making on a few of these teams, right? It's 40% what we thought they were and 60% what we've seen. I think this is another one of the games where it corrects a little bit. I mean, we all know Russell Wilson's a magician, and I love watching him play. And yes, he hasn't received a single MVP vote in his entire career, which is just ludicrous to me. But I think this is going to regress to the mean a little bit more. I think Dallas is going to be better than they have been this season. I think Seahawks are going to be a little bit worse, more like that fourth quarter team we saw against Cam Newton and the Patriots. I think it's going to be a lot of the same there. So I do think that 5, I'd probably lean Dallas, but yeah, I don't want to bet on the Cowboys. That sucks. Nick, how do you feel about this game? Tell me we can take the over, please. Somebody tell me we can take the over on one of these fun games.
Sure. Take the over on this one if you want. There you go.
Oh,
no, this is the chalk game in DFS to stack up. It's just like Dallas and Atlanta last week, and just like Seattle and Atlanta was the first week. You need exposure to this game in DFS. For me, it's going to be more on the player props for this game. I think the 80 is going to have a ton of spit outs for this one. I really, 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 really like Chris Carson this week. I'm going to come out and say that he is like the forgotten child apparently in this game because everybody wants Lockett and Metcalf and Russell. Chris Carson's a pass catcher. So if you want to use Russell, by all means, it's one of the nuts matchups out there. Like Dallas, I don't know if they have any of their cornerbacks healthy right now. Do they? Like, isn't everyone hurt?
Pretty much. I'm pretty sure.
Wouzier is definitely not playing, and obviously they don't have Byron Jones anymore. So I don't know who's healthy.
That's bad, man. So yeah. Get exposure to Chris Carson, though, folks. It's going to be just like last week when we could get Aaron Jones in a smash spot. Chris Carson is probably going to be the number one play in the 80 model this week, I would think. I'm not done yet, but that is looking very, very intriguing for me to get low-owned exposure to someone that's going to have 20 touches in the most popular game in DFS with the highest total on the slate. I'll leave it at that.
Love it. And Nick told me I could take the over, so I am.
Good, sure.
Let's go to the Sunday night football game. We have Green Bay traveling down to New Orleans. We saw New Orleans look like shit. Drew Brees, I know we haven't really seen him throw the ball, but he had Michael Thomas, which was kind of essentially a free square for him every week. You just keep peppering him. 9 catches, 90 to 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. It was an easy day. Line opened at 6.5 to New Orleans. I guess people watched that Monday night game. It's now down to -3. You can also get the over-under at 52.5, so still a pretty high total there. One thing of note that was really interesting to me on that Monday night game, 5.5 line to New Orleans, 5.5 line to New Orleans. I was on Twitter, and all of a sudden, literally what was trending, it just said -4. I was like, what the hell? I have to click on this and see what's going on. The line somebody snapped their fingers, and that line moved all the way down to 4.5, and all you saw was everybody on Twitter. Oh my God, Saints 4.5. This is a lock. This is so easy. This is so easy. And I saw one person, I don't remember who it was, so shout out that guy. He's like, when a line moves from 5.5 to 4, you don't want to really take that team at -4, especially if it happens like 4 hours before the game. That means something is going on. They got the whole public to get on it. It was hysterical. The Saints got beat outright, so hopefully some people out there got the money line on the Raiders when it was at 5.5, because that would have been hilarious. But Sticks, I'll start with you. -3. It's your Green Bay Packers. Devontae Adams, we'll see what's up there. Saints defense still looks good. Got to give them that. But, I mean, 3 points? I'm kind of leaning with the Packers. And again, we take the home road splits for Drew Brees very, very seriously because they're blatant. But I don't know if it's as effective this time around because there is no home road, really.
Yeah, I like the under at 55 when it opened. I did not bet it, though. I just kept my eye on it, and it's way down now at 52.5. I still think I would lean that way, but I have no play on this game until
Devontae Adams.
Yep. That means a lot. Yeah. I like Lazard, though. I mean, he's in a good spot.
As Sia says, he's the best wide receiver in the league, and gosh darn, we saw it in that first week. Sia, how do you like this game? I mean, someone has to talk about Drew Brees too. His number one receiver last week, Alvin Kamara, he had -1, like averaged minus air yards. Literally everything was behind the line of scrimmage to Alvin Kamara, and he racked up like 100 yards. That is an alarming statistic.
Yeah, they don't really have any. I mean, Traquan Smith looked really good, so that's promising. But they're probably not going to have Michael Thomas. I'm assuming Green Bay's not going to have Devontae Adams. So you got the top receivers out. I'm going to go ahead and take the points. This is one of those situations you want to be real careful not to, again, the recency bias. How bad did the Saints look? They're going to be ready. Sean Payton's going to have them ready. But this comes down to, does Drew Brees really have it anymore? We know Rodgers does, but Drew Brees can't throw the ball downfield. And I just think when you have Aaron, even if it's just MVS and Alan Lazard, when you have Aaron Jones, who's also a great pass catcher, and you got a couple other running backs you can use, I just think they have just enough weapons to keep this game very, very, very close. And Drew Brees is just, whether it's home or away, but particularly at home, he doesn't feel like a big threat right now. And without Michael Thomas, he's definitely not a big threat. So I see the Packers kind of keeping things underneath and maybe forcing Brees into a mistake or two. And I think they're going to be able to run the ball well enough and pass the ball well enough to cover the 3.5.
I love it. And just our man still be coming through. Drew Brees has completed 1 pass over 20 yards. Time for Jameis John Deere coming in. My goodness. I could not agree with you more, man. I think Drew Brees has to have a thumb injury, or those Saints, the upper management in the Saints have to do something with the Catholic Church, but we'll leave that one at that. Go Google search. That's a fun one. So yeah, I think I would take the Packers here. I think it's fantastic, and I'm all in, man. I'm all in. Nick, are we playing? I mean, Alvin Kamara looked absolutely fantastic. He won me a matchup last week, which was wonderful. Seeing him score those 30 points really put it over the top. Aaron Jones running against this defense. I mean, no one's really been. Josh Jacobs didn't look that great. The Bucks, I mean, they didn't look that great running. You're on mute, so just want to let.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. Very tough spot for opposing running backs. No play for me at all there. And luckily it's not on the main slate, so we're good. Yes. Don't have to worry about this one.
That's true.
By the way, sorry, Michael, my bad. Remember when we were talking before the season, we're like, well, of course, Aaron Jones is going to have touchdown regression, because that would make sense to anybody, because I believe last year he had 19 total touchdowns. Well, through 2 weeks, he already has 4 touchdowns. Yeah. And he also has 234 yards. And 78 catching yards.
The GOAT.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll take the L on that one. So far, through 2 games, very much am I taking the L on that one. I mean, but again, 19 touchdowns, you can't do that 2 years in a row. That's insane. Now watch him score 20. Watch him score 21. I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it.
Imagine if the Packers, instead of with their first and second round picks, they took guys that they could actually use this year.
Nick is right there.
Instead of a guy.
He's right there.
Instead of a guy that they're going to cut or trade in 2 years and a backup running back.
Not good.
And don't forget about the fullback that they grabbed, I think, in the 3rd round. That's always fullback season, baby. Let's go. Old school offense.
Need to replace the ghost of John Kuhn.
Hey, it's a good ghost. I'm sure he's like Casper. He's a friendly ghost, right?
He's a good dude.
He's a nice
I don't know that, but I've
heard good things. Actually, too long of a story. I don't really care that much. Let's move on. We have the Monday night game. I think this is like one time when ESPN is like super, super excited to have the Monday night game, because they always suck. But this one looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. We have Kansas City traveling to Baltimore. Opened up at 54. Opened up at 52, moved up to 54, and it looks like it's -3.5 to Baltimore. Last couple of years, Patrick Mahomes has had the Ravens number. He's had some immaculate plays. It's been absolutely fantastic, and he's kind of just pulled it out. We'll see. Sia, how do you feel about this last game of week 3? Baltimore getting 3.5 points, or Kansas City getting 3.5 points. Super Bowl champs getting 3.5 points. That's not bad.
Well, okay. You could also rephrase that as the second best team in the NFL getting 3.5 points, because the Ravens are the best team in the NFL. They also were last year, by the way. And they're going to cover this line. I hope it goes down to 3. And it should. I mean, I don't know where the money is right now. We'll know later in the week. I know Nick knows right now, but I'll know later in the week. But I hope this goes down to 3 because then I'm absolutely hammering it. But I like Baltimore regardless.
All right, Nick.
Baltimore's going to rout them. Telling you right now, Kansas City they're weirdly in love with running the ball right now, establishing it early. They're not playing their game. They can't stop the run. LA just showed you that. And so did Houston the first week.
David Johnson looked incredible.
It's not going to be good. I would bet Baltimore at 5.5 or 6. I think Baltimore, by far the best team in the NFL. I'm sure Mahomes is going to have some late magic, always does, especially when Baltimore's D kind of softens up when they're up 14 in the fourth quarter, because that's going to happen. But let's go. I'm with Sia. 100% Baltimore should rout them. It's going to be fun. You're going to see 3 running backs get over 50 yards for Baltimore.
And one of them is going to be the Gus Bus Rutgers legend. Thank you, Nick. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I meant Lamar Jackson, but
he was talking about Ingram, Dobbins, and Lamar Jackson. But
Gus Bus had the most yards for them last week.
Well, because they were up by all right. Fourth quarter, Gus gets 50 because they're up by 21. So the
50-yard touchdown.
Nick shout out Rutgers.
Shout out Rutgers. Hey, birthplace of college football. All right, you can shut your mouth. What do you got, Sia?
I was just going to say, I think getting into that rushing spectrum might be RG3 late in the game when they're up. Let me raise it. I'm going to raise you, Nick. When they're up 21 in the fourth quarter. How about that? RG3 gets 15 rushing yards and improves on his 9 passing yards that he has this season, which, by the way, is 37th in the NFL through 2 weeks. So it's not bad. He's in the top 40 in passing yards. So take that, all you haters.
Well, we'll see. What top 40 in passing yards? Would you look at that? He's below Mitchell Trubisky. That has to say something. Love you, RG3, but you're below Mitchell Trubisky. But no, it should be fun. Out of curiosity, just this last question. We got John Deere chiming in and says, Ingram Knight, are you comfortable in DFS to play any of these Baltimore running backs yet? Because it doesn't seem like they are giving us any real reason to pick any of them at this point.
No, not for me. But they're not on the main slate again, so my work is done at the 3 o'clocks.
However, so Michael, you and Jason have the Throwdown Showdown that you guys have on SiriusXM. If I was going to gamble on one, and I'm looking at the pricing now, if I was going to gamble on one, I wouldn't do Ingram because that's not really like a gamble, right? He's going to be the most owned guy and the most expensive guy. I might do it with J.K. Dobbins. I might say, okay, this might be the coming out party for J.K. Dobbins, a little slight changing of the guard, not a full changing of the guard, but a slight changing of the guard. And I might go like Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins, and, Mark Andrews.
Yeah, you could kill Kansas City in the middle.
It's going to be interesting. I think, honestly, especially if you guys don't believe in the Kansas City run D that much, I think you can probably throw a dart at a dartboard. And you said 2 of the running backs will score touchdowns. So it can't really hurt taking a couple of them at this point. And believe me, Sia, believe me, Nick, I'm going to talk JK, or I'm not JK Dobbins, Gus Bus on the Monday Showdown Throwdown on demand on Sirius, your Sirius XM app.
I'm going to see here. I think they say, hey, you have CEH, we're going to raise you J.K. Dobbins right there on national television.
A little rookie on rookie action. That'll be fun.
I like that narrative right there. Now I'm really behind it.
Here we go. We're all about the narratives here. So that was the entire slate. That was an hour and a half of your time. Unless you listen to this at like 1.2, you could probably listen to this at like 1.5 speed and get through it a little quicker. But we had some fun. We gave you some good picks. We won a lot last week, so I presume we're going to win a lot this week. Again, make sure to be on the lookout. We have the 80 model. We have the 80 prop blocks, which I've been having a lot of fun betting on. We obviously also have our sports betting membership where we have some pretty great plays in there, not just on football, but we have them on baseball and basketball. And I think that's hockey might still be going on. Jim Thompson's killing MMA, which is a lot of fun. Austin's giving free picks in soccer, and it seems like he's hitting everything, even these plus 300 parlays, which are fantastic. We to be on the lookout for that article. Nick's going to have his cash game article. We're going to have the GPP article. Sia still has golf to do tonight, so we're taking up a lot of his time there. We are also going to have a podcast to go over some of the DFS plays a little bit before Friday or Saturday morning. We are then going to do the live stream Sunday morning. As you can tell, people, putting out a lot of content. And don't forget, windailysports.com/DK. And there is a free roll. Nick's probably going to win. Sia's going to interview him. It's going to be really awkward. But if you can beat Nick, you will most likely be in that top 50. You will most likely be number 1 if you can beat Nick. And you will get a lifetime membership to windailysports.com and you will also get interviewed by the one and only Sia Najad. That's my co-host right there. You are going to be interviewed by him. Great information.
Thanks, John Deere.
Thanks,
Love
John
it, buddy.
Deere. Yeah, dude, you got to get a better picture, man. At least make it green. At least make it a green picture.
Get something funny.
Come on, John Deere. You're better than that.
Nick, talk to me. Where can everybody find you on the internet?
Stixpicks, STIXPICKS. Yeah, a cash game article out tomorrow night, GPP Friday, and the updated 80 projections most likely tomorrow night, unless I drink some coffee and don't go to sleep tonight. Then maybe.
Ooh. Oh, it's only 9 o'clock where you are.
I feel like I'm just gonna stay up and keep building Cincy Philly stacks and have fun with that.
Nice. I love it. Sia, where can everybody find you on the internet?
At Sia Najad, SIANEJAD.
And all over the Discord, you can find me at Michael Raziel 1. Make sure to follow us at Win Daily Sports. And again, windailysports.com/DK. Free roll, top 50 people, top 50 places, get free memberships, #1 overall. Believe me, I have kind of been interviewed by Sia before. Electric. Absolutely electric. So thank you all very much. For Nick, for Sia, for myself, for the Win Daily Sports family. We appreciate all of you and hope you make it